Ho, 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 friends.
Ho, 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 ho.
Welcome to Coming Down. I believe this is episode 12. My name's Nathan. I'm sitting down with Matthew.
Hello.
So we just got a couple things to go over for this episode. First of all, well, I guess I just want to... How was your week, man?
Oh, God. I mean, about the same as last week. I've just been... Okay, so part of it was in the popcorn mines. Like, we've moved below the pretzel mines into a vein of popcorn. But the cool thing was that it was for...
Did you strike kettle?
Oh, God. No, it was not that rich of a vein, unfortunately. But no, it was for Nightmare Before Christmas, which was cool. And when the symphony was playing the soundtrack. So.
Now, when you work, do you get to hear the stuff a little bit? I mean...
If I was a little less hardworking, I could hear a lot more of it, but I was...
pretty background.
Yeah, well, and the really fucked thing is that they have, like, wires running to various speakers in the general vicinity of the office that I work in, but not in the actual office.
Oh.
So I can just kind of barely hear it down the hall if I'm actually doing my job.
Wow, that's a shame.
Yeah. But every now and then I'll just get up and go walk the floor and, like, catch part of whatever it is.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
I got to hear the Oogie Boogie song, which is what I really wanted.
Oh, hell yeah. See, I've always wondered, like, when you go to concerts and there's the security guards, especially bigger ones, and, there's the security guards, like, standing at the front of the stage facing the crowd.
Right.
And they're stoic as fuck. How do you... I mean, I get, like, you probably don't like every band.
Right.
So, fine, you can just ignore it or whatever. But there's got to be some shit that you like. And how do you not bop your head, smile...
Yeah.
Kind of enjoy yourself a little bit, but they always just look deadpan, like they don't care at all.
I mean, I got to figure that if they are fans, like, that's just hardcore professionalism,
Yeah, but they can't pay them that much. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, pride goes a long way, even when you're working a shit job, man.
That's true. No, that's totally true. I mean, I'm just always impressed, because I'm always looking at them, like, losing my shit. I'm like, how are you not even, like, tapping your toe or bobbing your head a little bit, dude?
Right.
Or smirking or anything. Or the band will make a joke or something will happen, and they're just nothing.
Yes.
Just no effect on them whatsoever. So.
Right.
Yeah, so I didn't do shit this week, but there was the Iron Chris tournament, which was really cool. So friends of the pod, fellow podcast, Swordcast Adventures, they do D&D podcasts. You can check them out at the Swordcast. I think we've tweeted about them, but we'll keep plugging them because they're awesome.
Damn straight.
But it was cool. It was pretty much just all of those kids and Roz, who heads up a lot of it, or I think he DMs a lot of the time.
Yeah.
He's been throwing these fighting game tournaments for his birthday. I think this is the 5th one. Wow. And they've always been pretty legendary, and he makes a trophy every year. And
I saw the trophy building thread.
Yeah.
Pretty epic.
Yeah, and I'm god-awful at fighting games.
Same.
And they make me angry, but I still go and play.
Nice.
And, won a couple rounds, and so it was fun. But it was fun hanging out with all those kids. It was just like Swordcast party, so...
Right.
That was a good old time.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, props to Roz and the Swordcast kids, Iron Chris tournament. It was super fun.
Nice.
But yeah, nothing else has been going on, man. Just getting prepped for Christmas and stuff.
Christmas.
Yeah. So this episode, another guest episode, because we're just getting a ton of those these days, which is fantastic.
I love it. Yeah,
it's great. It means we get to sandbag our stories more.
God, it's wonderful. Like, oh man, just can't wait to drop this fucking gem. Oh,
yeah.
Let's stretch it out a little more.
Yep. Yeah, so my buddy Will was on this episode. He did this right before he moved to Chicago, and he's still there and will be there for some time. But it's a great episode, and I just want to throw out a little disclaimer. We learned that, as some of you are aware who have been in the music industry or the recording industry, sometimes cell phones can affect electronics.
Yeah.
And so someone's phone in the room, not pointing fingers, but our phones haven't done this yet.
Truth. Never heard it on one of our episodes.
Yeah. But yeah, there's a little bit of interference and noise in there, and I'm going to try and clean it up as best I can. It doesn't really affect the episode, but if you hear little sort of buzzes and kind of noise in the background, I mean,
Yeah. There's only one really egregious one. Hopefully we can...
Yeah, and it's not, painful or anything. It's just sort of distracting. So, just ignore it and live with it, because it's a really, really good episode.
Yes, there's a reason that we preserved this one despite the audio flaws, because Will's just a fucking awesome dude.
Yeah, and I mean, you've heard cat noises, you've heard cars, you've heard children shrieking, you've heard it all at this point. You've heard, I believe we forgot to mention one episode where I was running the dryer.
Yeah,
on another floor, mind you, and I did not think the mic would pick it up, but it did. So
yeah, I mean, kudos to this fucking mic. You
know?
Yeah,
right. Yeah, you've done a lot, little $60 Tascam.
You got a sweet loss.
So yeah. Anyway, that's about it. Yeah, this episode's great. And so now just the housekeeping stuff. We'll just let everyone know, if you want to support the show, you can check us out on Patreon. That's patreon.com/comingdownpod. If you want to donate anything to this, if you're enjoying this at all, we really appreciate all that help. And we're still gonna, maybe we'll do it next week. Okay, we're gonna do a contest next week.
Yes, indeed.
So so stay tuned. Definitely check us out on the web. You can go to comingdownpod.com. That has the links to anywhere and everywhere you can find us. All the social media stuff, like Twitter, @comingdownpod. Definitely give us a follow. Retweets are super appreciated too. We're trying to figure out how to enter that sphere and, amateur hour here. So
exactly.
I don't know.
We're just kind of blindly fumbling around, but we'll get it.
Yeah, we'll get there. And you can email us, comingdownpod@gmail.com, if you want to be on the show, or if you have any suggestions or tips or hate mail, send it there. And then beyond that, all the platforms: Spotify, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube. We're on all of that stuff. And if you have a minute, give a rate and review on Apple and Stitcher. Actually, you know what, fuck it, just do it on Stitcher. I read an article recently, and I'll put it in the show notes, that apparently the whole rating and reviewing system on Apple is completely fucked. What? And I'll link it, dude. It's a fucking weird thing. But if you want to, go ahead. But apparently it doesn't fucking matter at all.
All right.
And Apple does weirder metrics than everyone thought, and apparently it's super skewed how they actually do bump stuff up to their top podcasts of the week or whatever. So whatever, fuck them.
All right, but please continue hosting our podcast, Apple.
Yes, totally. I mean, thanks, but maybe get your shit in order. All right, enjoy the episode.
But I like the idea of them more. I'll show up and I'll just be like, I don't want to throw bows while sweaty and pay $8 for this shit for live music. But then I enjoy it despite myself, basically.
Yeah,
hiking or anything else.
I mean, totally. And as you get older, going to big shows becomes much harder. And I mean, it's so expensive now too. But yeah, fighting crowds and shit, not into that, and and people just get dumb at concerts.
Oh, God,
they do.
It's how much beer do I want spilled on me?
Well, these lanky tree people just are magnetically attracted to the front stage too.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, Ricky, being as short as she is,
oh my God,
can never seem to not get the 6'7" guy.
That's which the shortest people attract him. It's just
a
egregious.
6 foot guy already blocks her view, but it's then somehow the most giant guy in the audience is just right in front of her.
Insult to injury. It's just, yeah.
I'm always kind of moving us around and putting her in front of me and trying to find a good gap where it's she can see, because I can't really see much at shows. I usually can catch a little bit off the top of people's heads, depending on the stage setup and whatnot. Sure. But
I like live music too, but I think it's also I don't know, it's only 30, I would say 90 minutes I'm into it, and then it's at least the shortest show is 3 hours, 2 or 3 hours, and a festival is days.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's even if it's different music, I'm just dying at some point.
Oh, well, festivals, I mean, I've gone to Coachella a couple times, and I mean, it was cool, but it's exhausting, and I mean, just throwing a bunch of people out in the desert, and then I don't know, and of course, they have to have security, and so water policies are all weird. The last time I was out there, everyone was like losing their shit because they were charging for water and there weren't any water stations, and they made everyone dump their water before they came in.
Yep.
And so a bunch of kids were organizing just like flash mobs on the tents and just stealing all the water and like running around and handing it all out.
So great.
Yeah.
Well, and not to mention, like, a lot of those places, I mean, if you have, like, kids distributing Molly, too, like, where you're just getting sweaty and dancing out all of your, like, moisture, like, you need access in the desert. It's not like a question.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter like what you've been doing all day, but you need water. Yeah,
yeah, it's like the Nestle attempt at like Uber's, economy, because it's like, oh, it's need based, right? But fuck you, it's need based. It's just water.
Yeah, you should have to provide water and restrooms. Like that's just basic human needs that should be at everything.
Did you guys ever? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was actually going to make a comment about outdoor show restrooms, but I don't think we need that on the record. So let's just move on.
I was going to ask if you guys ever played like Sim Coaster or the Tycoon or any of those.
Seen it played.
Dabbled. Yeah.
I remember playing when I was 11 years old and something like that, and I would let people in like super cheap, basically, and the lemonade was free. The lemonade was free, but I charged people to go to the bathroom. And that was my like little evil mastermind plan. I make so much money because they have no choice. I'm just steepling my 11-year-old fingers.
Genius.
It was terrible. I like felt bad about the sim people after a little while.
You can have as much lemonade as you want, but you will pay in the end.
Right.
All right, so I think I'm just going to keep it in the normal place. It's always tricky to figure this out, to get the sound levels right.
Yeah.
I know, like, none of us are professionals here. I'm trying to...
This is how we did it with John.
This is how we did it with John, yeah.
He was here, but I didn't notice any real difference between the voices.
Yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on, like, the clipping there. And, I mean, I think we're fine. We're not going to get any, like, egregious clipping. Just trying to...
Does my voice look louder than yours does?
No, everything's picking up fine, I think. I think we're fine. So, we'll just roll with it there. Anyway.
Cool.
So we're rocking and rolling.
We're recording. Good.
Yep.
Well, do you guys have like an intro for your show yet?
Oh, not really.
We like the rambly cold open.
Yeah. I usually just hit record and then I'll fade it in or edit it in, however seems appropriate. So
good. But I think editing will be helpful.
We can let people know. Yeah. No, we can just let people know. Shit, I didn't ask you before if you want to use real name. Or
I
not.
don't care.
All right, cool.
Really, it was fine. Yeah.
Well, we're sitting down with our buddy Will, and he's gonna tell us a story. Mm-hmm. And he gave me a little bit of a precursor, but I said just no spoilers.
Yeah, for sure. No, I have. Let's see. So I'll start with the embarrassing one because it's out of the way. So basically, I got out of college, and I don't know how to date because I just got out of college. You don't really date while you're in college. So I just sort of wander around liking people.
Yeah. Now, we should preface this. When did you get out of college?
This is the end of 2012, so beginning of 2013.
Okay, so dating has even changed since then,
Yeah.
Now there's Tinder and other stuff. I mean, there's sort of online dating then, I guess.
No, there was OkCupid. That was my jam. But definitely online dating and just like by accident. Because like it's really helpful to have friends who are like gregarious but exhausting, so you just hang out with them like a little bit and they introduce you to 10 people and you're like, oh thank God, that's my like Facebook quota for 6 months.
Yeah.
But so anyways, I meet someone and we have a great time, and I start getting this familiar sensation that I richly suspect is a UTI. You guys know, a urinary tract infection.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know that that's what it is, and like I've been out of school. I haven't like even bothered to set up like a primary care practitioner or anything like that. I don't really want to deal with it, so I'm just going to take ibuprofen like an idiot and not like deal with the situation and hope that it like resolves itself. And it doesn't.
Shocking.
It doesn't do that. So I do like a basic self-check, just be like, is there any like egregious lumps in this area? no, I don't think so. I think I just gotta go in for like a 10-day cycle of antibiotics and just get it over with,
Yeah.
you know. And the price of entry is gonna be some just rolling some testicle dice.
Yeah.
So I go and I like sign up. So I work at OHSU, right? And then I go there, and they it's a teaching hospital. And I say, whatever is the soonest. Like, I don't care. I just got to get this resolved. It's not like I know anybody here anyways. Just pick a primary care doc out of a hat who's next available. And it's this old white guy. Like, I say this as an old white guy. It's an old white guy. And I go in, and I'm like, hey, man, my balls hurt. And he's just, like, strong open, you know? He's just, like, coming off of... Like, that's... Yeah, so... But he's like, all right, well, you know, I got to do what I got to do. So, or you drop drawers, and we'll see what's going on here. And I am pretty tender by the time, because I'm stubborn. I didn't want to go until it was already an issue. I was like, okay, man, well, here's the thing. Like, I have a medical history of UTIs. I didn't feel any lumps. You do what you got to do, but like, let's get this over with, right? Can we be done with this soon? And so he's shaking my rocks, and it's
rolling the dice.
It's real painful. And he comes up for air. He finally comes up, and I'm like, oh, thank God that's over. And he says, I think I'm going to need to get a second opinion.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh my God, I am the second opinion. Please stop this. Like, help me.
Wait, because you are more or less a medical student at this point, right?
Well, I'm pre-med, and I work in clinical research. So
that's good enough for a second opinion.
I understand that this is likely what's happening, but I respect the profession. There's a shitload of training that goes between the two of us. At the same time, there's X possibilities, and I have this medical history, and I feel like he's just... But anyways, I'm like, okay, fine, you're the doctor. You're the physician. I appreciate that. You do what you got to do. You go fetch some other primary care that knows what an infection is, I guess. And so he's like, okay, cool, I'll be right back. He leaves. He just opens the door and leaves. And he doesn't direct me to put my pants back on or anything. I'm just like standing, 3 sheets to the wind here. And I finally put my pants back on, and he comes back in. He does the that knock, but they open the door concurrently, where it's just like, okay, I don't know why, we're kidding
Thanks
ourselves.
For the heads up, I guess.
Yeah. It's like, it's the same amount of notice.
Yeah.
But he comes back in, and he's like, all right, I got this other doctor here. It's another old white man who comes in, and he's followed by 6 or 7 pre-med students.
No.
Co-ed pre-med students. And this guy's just like, hey, so I heard you got this thing going on, and I thought maybe it'd be like a good teaching moment. You don't mind, do you? And I was like, do I mind in this moment? And I was like,
it's too late to mind or not.
Everyone's
here.
It's too late. They're here.
The dude minds.
So I'm like in pain, and this whole thing is fucking surreal at this point, right?
Yeah.
So I just turn, I'm like, hey guys, you want to see my balls? And they're like, they kind of laugh. They're like, okay, well, this guy's like, yeah, he gets it. So some of the tension is cut, but like, Old Man 2 is already just kind of like, I'm a professional, I'll have you know. He's already just
so
in it.
He wasn't taking that too well?
No, he was just like,
appreciate your comedic tone.
Yes, this is not appropriate for this situation.
Is a hospital.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, but yeah, let me find it. So anyways, I dropped trial again in front of 8 people, at least. It's a full room. So it's basically the same as before, but there's a limelight on it now, and people snapping a beat poetry club. It's just I can't believe this is happening, And so this other old white man number 2 starts playing Bop It with my balls, and he's checking for these lumps, and I'm in an egregious amount of pain. I start getting this I should say, at this point, it's not. I'm not I'm in pain. There's a cool breeze. There's a bunch of gloved hands on me. I'm not swinging a proud moment right now. Exactly. It's it's like rewinding a Planet Earth episode. I mean, it's not a great situation down there. And so I'm starting to get that distinct like ball pain. It's just like nausea,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And he's like fondling, and I'm thinking like his bald spot is just really target shaped for what's about to happen. And I'm like, okay, you got to do what you got to do, but if you don't quit this, like, I'm going to vomit on your head. And he just says, I'm almost done. And then he crab walks to the side so that like he's
So
just
he
like
gets out of the
indicating
way.
like that he's out of the way while he's there. He's just like,
We're going to get into reach around mode.
yeah, exactly. I can't.
Don't mind me.
Yeah, exactly. So he finishes, and again, like no indication. He stands up, no indication that I can put myself back together, clothed again. And he like looks at like the other doc, and he looks at the patients. He looks at me, and he's just dead ass. He's like, I think it's a UTI. It's like, what is happening?
You're like, I accept your medical opinion.
Yeah. I was like, accepted.
Oh man.
But yeah, that was my teaching hospital moment.
Wait, so are all these students like crammed in there too, trying to get like a good
they're
view?
crammed and getting like they've got like at least like a 90-degree angle between
gosh,
them.
man.
So, and like I've been like cracking wise like this whole time because I don't know what else to do. Like I'm just dying.
No, what can you do?
I'm
Yeah.
in pain, and I'm just like, you should see me without the man fondling.
Oh, yeah,
like,
right?
this sort of
Yeah.
shit. And then he doesn't appreciate any of it, but they're like kind of cracking up too.
Yeah.
And at the very end of it, like walking out the co-eds, like one of them turns back and like winks at me. One of the girls is like winks at me, and
Right
that
on.
wink made the whole like bullshit episode worth it. I was just like, oh, okay, well that's fine that everything is horrible and painful and humiliating because so.
And that's a real sweetheart.
So I appreciated that. Yeah, that girl out there that made that happen because that 180'd the whole experience. I was like, okay, well at least I can, that was a performance. you know?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I mean, like, it sounds like the pain level, at least, was like drowning out the embarrassment level.
It had to have been. I really was like stepping outside of myself at some point, just being like, I guess
Leave
this is
your
happening.
body, Seymour.
Yeah.
Leave your body. Damn, okay, so you opened with you had started dating a girl. I was kind of hoping you'd end with you started dating a new girl after that wink.
Yeah. And then I saw someone else.
Yep.
Yeah.
she's like, "Hey, dude, nice balls. Let's hang out."
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, that was one of my stories.
Man, that's, oh boy. God, it's never comfortable being at the doctor, but I can't imagine, yeah. How do they not ask you first? That seems so crazy.
I leaned into it at that point. I was like, this is probably not appropriate, but I'm not going to make a fit out of it. And then I know that in retrospect it'll be hilarious because it's so bad right now.
Hey, I admire you for that. I have a philosophy that, like, you should always try to make the decision that will result in better memories.
Yeah.
Regardless of how that works out, I mean, as long as you don't die or lose your property in an egregious way, like,
Right.
just go for it.
Yeah. That was the hope. So now that there's enough years of distance from the trauma, it's a pretty funny story. I think.
Yeah.
I agree.
I have a quick aside on that just because, I don't know, I thought of it during your story the last time I went to the doctor. And I haven't been to the doctor very much because I finally got health insurance for the first time since I was a child recently. So I went in for a checkup. Doctor that took my blood pressure and all the basic checkup stuff.
Yeah.
Was just really gorgeous woman, and she's grabs my arm and she's like, "Oh, turn your hand palm up or whatever to do the blood pressure."
Yeah.
And then she tugs my arm and pulls it into her, and and I just cup her breast.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
and I'm just like, oh my god. And then she's like, wow, your heart rate really increased for a second.
Right.
And I was
Surprising.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
I wonder why that was.
Did mine increase too?
Yeah.
Grab her hand. Hold on, let's see what happens now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she said it so aloofly that I don't think that she like caught
Understood.
what happened. And I mean, I guess you work with people all day, and like she probably pulls people's arms into her breasts all day, and like I don't know, like
Maybe she didn't realize it was your hand. Yeah.
Yeah, she played it off like no biggie, but then like when she said it, I was like, oh, you don't say.
Yeah. No, that's really funny.
Yeah.
I think it's both, right? Like doctors they're trying to be professionals, so like if they acknowledge that something's hilarious, it's kind of less professional, but
Right.
also like bodies are bodies.
Yeah.
Like they've seen so much shit by the time they're like practicing.
Yeah, I feel like I would be more comfortable if my doctor kind of could josh around with me a little bit, you know? I mean, I guess be serious when you're telling me that like something's serious, but if we can sort of get through this, because none of it's enjoyable, even just a checkup, like I don't want to be there.
For sure.
You don't want to be touching me. Like,
Yeah, I think that's why I think, honestly, patient rapport is super important. It's one of those things that I see in clinical research, like, nobody bothers to quantify it, so nobody bothers to pay for it, and you get a bunch of, like, these, you know, systems where you're like, how well do you take notes, and not how much information that's useful do you get out of the patient, and how much do they like the experience. Like, all these things that are added value to the actual, like, patient visit and can result in better care that just get ignored because you can't quantify how much somebody is, like, easy to talk to.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and so building that rapport is so crucial. Which is why I should find a real doctor. The place I was going there, I mean, when I signed up, because I chose the place closest to where I live.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, this is like the staging area or whatever, you know, I don't know how to put it. They're like, this is where doctors come in, but they'll leave this location and go on to like their bigger practices or whatever. And it's like, that's fine, just give me whoever. Yeah. But, yeah. Oh, man. Well, that's great, dude. You have a second tale that you'd like to get in here?
Yeah, it was actually.
Do you have anything else?
I was going to try and involve you guys too, if you had interest.
Okay.
Which was, what is your favorite childhood story? And I'm going to define childhood kind of loosely. All right. Well, let's say like 12 or less. Let's say you're still like, you know, solving problems with like hitting things with sticks. You know, you're not like fully definitely prepubescent. Like you're a kid.
Sure. Boy.
Favorite.
Favorite.
I can tell you guys while you ruminate too what mine is, but I thought it would be a really good play for you.
Yeah, lead off with yours, and then
let's do ours at the end, just in case we run short on time. I want to maximize like our time with Will as much as we can.
Yeah,
Make
totally.
Sure we get all that you have to say.
Cool. I appreciate that. So this story is about the first time I ever went fishing, which I think is a kind of an appropriate, like, Southern Oregon boy sordid tale. And so
How old were you?
I was 7.
Okay.
And my dad, and to paint a picture, I've got, like, almost a bowl cut situation going. Not quite like that sort of rounded, like, you know, just the, like, Stranger Things kind of haircut, you know?
Sure. Nice.
And I've got, like, almost knee-high, like, frog boots, like, green boots with, like, frog eyes on it and shit. And, like, I'm wearing, like, I'm starting to get, like, kitted out for this adventure. I've got, like, every primary color on my, like, kid-sized, like, life vest. My fishing rod itself is, like, made by Fisher-Price. It's, like, plastic, you know? I mean, like, it looks like a toy that they're just going to tie something to. Yeah. You know? So I am just, like, so ready to drown power bait, you know? Like, and I take my 2 serious, you know, successors, whatever you call them, my dad and my grandfather. And my dad and my grandfather, my dad grew up in, like, Inglewood, LA, and just kind of scraped to make stuff happen. And my grandpa was a World War II belly bomber vet and a municipal court judge. And he's a pretty, like, he liked to putter around and make, like, offshoot puns. Like, he'd get my dad up in the morning in, like, the 70s or the 80s. Yeah, 70s, I guess. Yeah. And, so he could mow the lawn. He's like, "Hey, time to get up, Chuck. Get it, up, Chuck." And then just then he'd go leave to be a judge. You know, I mean, just like that shit. Like they're really dry. But yeah, so these two serious men who are good at fishing, objectively experienced, we'll say.
Take it
fishing.
Seriously somewhat.
Yeah.
Expect to come back with something.
Yeah, exactly. So we take my dad's, he's got like a dinged up drift boat. You know, like one of those aluminum drift boats where you have somebody with 2 oars in the back and there's 2 seats in the front for fishers. And we do that. My dad's, we go out to this lake that had just been stocked by a bunch of like hatchery trout. So they just they basically dump just a bunch of clipped idiot fish, like trout, into like a lake like twice a month, and it makes things easier to catch and more sustainable at the same time. So we go out there. It's this calm lake. It's literally called Fish Lake. Yeah, you might know it. Yeah.
Seems like a prime place.
Yeah, exactly. So the odds are stacked, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's like early in the morning. Like life's hard as a 7-year-old because it's early and it's kind of cold and it's quiet and it's foggy, and I don't have constant stimulation, and I'm 7, so I hate it.
Yeah, you have no appreciation for how cool this is.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like I don't really appreciate it yet. But my dad lines, and my grandpa has the fishing hat with the different ties and stuff stuck in it. He's got his tackle box. He's got this dope legacy spinner rod. He's kitted to actually do stuff, and I'm again drowning the power bait. So my dad puts this stuff on the end of this just neon colored mush on the end of my toy, and
I think I remember those Fisher Price rod and reel in quotes. They barely could constitute.
They technically functioned.
Yeah,
cast a few feet in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. It's just blorp.
Yeah,
and I let out the line, and I've let out the line, and it's maybe I don't know, 2 minutes, because it felt like 5 as a 7-year-old. It's no time in fishing time, and something hits it, and the line goes zzz, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. My dad's like, pull it, get it done, So I set the hook and I reel it up, and it's this half-pound hatchery trout, but it's gorgeous. It's a rainbow trout. I caught this fish
wow.
It was this
right
awesome living thing that I caught immediately. So we murdered it and put it in the back.
Like you do.
And I put it and I put the line out again. And I didn't finish letting out the line by the time something else grabbed it.
Wow.
So this continues for a little while, and
you're just pulling them out of the water.
I'm catching a successive number of fish as my grandfather, Judge Dib, is getting quieter and quieter, catching jack shit with his professional setup, his objectively better situation, and 7-year-old me, after the fish number 5, starts to feel bad, and I'm just and I start giving my grandfather advice on how to fish, I'm giving him advice. I'm trying to help out, right? I'm saying Grandpa, you got to look at the water, I at some point I asked him, I'm like, what do you have on your line? Yeah. He's like, oh, I got a red ant fly. And I was like, oh, well, that's your problem, dog. Ants aren't red. Don't even worry about it. I'm just telling him how to fish. And my dad is just barely, he's snickering, he's snorting audibly in the back.
Did you offer to trade poles? Do you want to try this one?
So here's I caught one more fish. It's that fish number 6, and I sigh because I don't really want to, because I'm a fucking legend over here right now.
Yeah.
But I'm like, all right, Grandpa, you can have my side of the boat.
Yeah.
And my dad just breaks character and starts laughing.
Yeah.
We're in a drift boat, by the way. We're literally just turning in a circle. Grandpa, it's fine. You can have my side of the boat. So,
Grandpa's sorry, son, I'm gonna have to drown your child.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the last time they saw me.
It's probably the last time you went fishing, right?
Never again, Will.
But yeah, so that was the first time I went fishing.
Well, no. So here's the real question: how many fish did he take credit for when you got back?
Yeah, there you go. I got I caught 7 fish, and there's a picture of me and my full getup, just like shit-eating, ear-to-ear 7-year-old grin, like holding up this like small passel, and they're all like half-pounders. It's like they only look like real fish because I'm barely a human, you know. Like, but it's 7 fucking fish that I caught, you know. But yeah, so that was my. And I never beat that out.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, I mean, they have the term little kid luck for a reason, you know, like.
Yeah, for sure.
No, and yeah, I mean, I guess just a quick aside, maybe this is my favorite memory, maybe not, but I mean, this was constant in my family where we would get together with like the grandparents or some uncles or something for game night.
Yeah.
And I'd just smash everyone in a game that I've never played before. Or like they'd take me out bowling and I'm just like, and yeah, and actually there was this one particular time that they took me out bowling. And all it was I was just doing some weird bad technique that was putting a spin on it, but I would roll it and then I would sit there and put my hands up and then start steering the bowling ball like with my mind. But it would go down the lane and then at the last second like veer left into the center and I'd get a strike, you know? I'm like 7, 8 years old, but
using the force.
Yeah,
you invented positive thinking.
My folks would tell that story. Yeah, my folks would tell that story like forever about like, remember that time you were steering the bowling balls with your mind? It's like, yeah. And I kind of believed it at the time, but I mean now of course I understand science and I realized I was just doing
there's such a thing as spin.
Yeah, totally. But man, it was so weird. But yeah, little kid luck, man, it's a real thing for sure.
Oh yeah.
No, I like it. I feel like I would be a terrible Matilda. Bad things. So, but yeah, you should ask for royalties on like Eat, Pray, Love, right? Get that positive thinking down.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally.
Like visualize a strike.
Right. Yeah, and then of course, you know, I mean, and that's the thing because kids are just like rude and it's just like, oh well, like. Remember that time I went bowling? Maybe that's how you could find a new job, Dad. You know? Just visualize it. Just imagine it. Just steer yourself into a job.
Yeah. Just be telekinetic, okay?
Yeah, God. I don't know, though, man. That question's still tough. Like, I had a good childhood, but I am not a nostalgic person for childhood. Like, I've always been one of those people who, like, can't wait till I get old. Like, you know, every time I see a gray hair, I'm, like, stoked. Like, yeah. Well, because, like, I think even at a younger age, I realized what an idiot I was. And then, like, every year you get older, you can look back and be like, way less of an idiot now, you know? And so I was happy to, like, keep learning and keep progressing and, like,
for sure,
enter the world and, like, be allowed to do new things and whatnot. So it's so hard for me to think back on. And again, like, childhood was great. Like, parents were fine. Like, parents were great. You know, requisite amount of bullying in school and everything, but nothing super bad. So, but yeah, pinning down, like, one favorite moment is really weird to think about. I don't know.
I mean, I just had a garbage memory of childhood generally too, right? Like it's so hard to think back that far for me. But
and it's
I totally
so weird.
Get what you're saying.
I feel like shitty saying like my childhood was like
it was great, but who remembers?
Right, totally. Yeah, because like seriously, like you know, my parents did like a great job. I mean, my dad aside, which you know that's a episode for a future date, but I mean they did a great job raising me, and yeah, you know, I had a perfect childhood. I wasn't beaten or whatever. Always had food on the table, and really never wanted for anything. So it was, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I just realized. I mean, like I have some great memories of childhood. There's also a lot of dark spots as well, but I realized that probably my favorite category of memory from childhood is just when my family was all together and like it was like after dinner or something, we're all just kind of cracking wise and like fucking crop dusting each other. Like,
oh god,
the fart sessions.
That's so brutal.
Are always the most fucking hilarious thing that my family does. Like,
I think that's in the Geneva Convention.
Like, you know, like, and we would just take turns. Like, someone would drop a bomb and like just wait for everyone else to notice, you know, and then like every now and then somebody would like make some noise and be like, "Oh God, get out of here!"
So if I were to go to your parents' house, is there like a cross stitch in the bathroom that says like a family who farts together stays together.
There really should be.
I think you found a Christmas present for your folks.
I think I know what needs to happen. Absolutely.
Yeah, like a real grandma style cross stitch, you know.
I like it. You're like a welcome mat, like ask not for whom the colon farts.
Right.
Farts for thee.
Well, the really creepy thing is like, oh my god, cheers on that. Holy shit. But the really creepy thing is apparently your mom passes on her bacterial flora to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so that's why your dad's farts smell so weird.
Yeah, you got to appreciate your own stank a little bit.
Well, and like the rest of your family's gonna have some similar like fart stink, but like dad's is always beefier, you know.
Yeah,
That is weird.
that is pretty funny. I like it. Yeah.
Oh man. See, now I am thinking about some childhood stuff, but I have to save those for certain episodes.
Right.
Yeah.
Like coming up soon, I'm going to do a whole episode on terrorizing my dad, which I guess is one of my favorite.
I would count it. You know,
but
that's-
it's kind of like 3 or 4 stories that all get kind of rolled into one.
Sure.
And so I got to
you have a legacy.
Yeah, it was. So spoiler or preview to future episodes.
You have a mini arc.
Right.
Actually, so I do have one kind of brief memory that when you were just saying, when you're a kid and you're just hitting things with sticks trying to figure out how they work.
Yeah. That's the rule.
There was. I lived right by a library, or my dad's house was right by a library in a giant park, which was super cool. And it was also attached to a museum, and it was this kind of old brick building, and it had this big, wide stairway that led up to the entrance. And we would go and just like play around that park and play around that museum and everything. And one of the things I remember distinctly doing, and it's such a distinct memory, is the way the stairway was, and I'll try and do this without my hands, because for the listener at home, but it
Put your hands down.
Yeah, right. But it basically like tiered up. So there's just like an edging to the stairs, and there are different tiers, and so that went up in height, and basically, and it got pretty tall. And at the top height, I would say it was probably 12 feet maybe.
Wow.
And so we would go out there and just jump off of these ledges, and we would go until like shit started to hurt,
God, no.
And it really was just a test of like how much can our ankles take, how much can our heels take.
Brutal, dude.
Yeah, dude. But I was always that kind of kid, and which is like crazy because I'm not now at all. I'm just like the most fearful motherfucker. Like, oh no, I'd rather not like push myself at all. But as a kid, it was just like always like, how far can we take this? Like how far can we push it?
For sure.
And I remember like we would do this kind of on the regular, and then see how high up we could get. But I remember like jumping off that top ledge, and just like hitting the ground, and just like my heels and my ankles just like stung, and I was like, okay, that's it, that's the limit. I can jump about that far.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever jumped into a body of water?
Many times.
Many times,
I
yeah.
grew up in Bend, so there's just ample opportunities.
Have you ever heard of a Sports Illustrated rock on the Rogue River?
Negative.
Okay. It's called Sports Illustrated rock because they put it on the cover of Nature. No, of Sports Illustrated.
I'm like, wait.
They put it on the cover of Time.
Wait. No. Okay. You said that and it didn't register, but that's so awful that something's named Sports Illustrated rock.
Right? It was like it wasn't named before that, and then they did that.
Yeah.
But the salient point is that you could jump off of it because it was a pretty sheer cliff into the Rogue River, and it was a pretty like deep. There's just like sassy sturgeon 20 feet down, but you're okay. You're safe.
Yeah.
To leap it, but it's fucking scary, man. Like there's not a lot of like primal fears like
how tall's
your
the drop,
body. It was 68 feet.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've done 40 on the reg, but
it's too much.
That's about my limit.
I don't believe that I did it, except I was there. Like, it was fucked. Like, because your body is like, hey, alternative. What if you don't step into the sky? You fucking idiot. Right. And
God, that's so far. Ooh.
And I would say that I was like the most cowardly person who did it because I went up there and I was like, I gotta fucking do it. There are girls here. Dude.
Girls
I have to harm myself.
Yeah. Girls will always inspire you, especially when you're younger, to do something idiotic. So
yeah,
you might.
But for what it's worth, it didn't end up that impressive because what I did was I made myself myself step off into the sky, and I fell, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to scream. So my version of that was to walk off of this cliff, immediately assume the pencil position so I don't murder myself, and then I kept my mouth shut, but I couldn't prevent from screaming, so I go down like just this fucking like Soviet failure making this noise like I'm screaming through my teeth like and I hit the water and I come back up and like my friend Joe is laughing. He's like, what was that? I did it. So.
Nice. Yeah, we had a spot in Colorado that was very similar. It was the Poudre River, but it was the same thing. It was just like it was a little like tunnel right off the kind of highway that went up the canyon, and you could climb up, and then it was just this small spot of the river that was just deep enough most of the year.
Yeah.
Right.
It was sketch, dude. And
sometimes your shoes hit the bottom.
Oh,
my God.
I hit the bottom once like a little hard even. Like kind of like hurt.
That's scary.
You know?
Yeah.
That was the last time I ever went. I was like, if we can't test the depth of this water, like I'm not doing this anymore.
Where's the science?
But yeah, the only reason I did it was because it was a really sketchy climb up to the face where you drop off. And so I got up there and I was like, fuck no, I'm not doing this. Then I walked back over to the ledge where I climbed up and was like, well, actually jumping into water seems better. Because like this climb is super sketchy. Like someone had nailed a rope in, because at one point there's no handhold, so you just sort of have to like rope up this other spot and then grab like a little bit of a crag and then you can pull yourself up to the top. But
OSHA approved for sure.
Yeah. Oh God, it was super sketch, and they finally like kind of put the kibosh on that spot where they started putting cops out there and stopped letting kids jump and stuff. But
yeah, people work so hard to hurt themselves. It's crazy.
Right? Yeah, totally. But yeah, we all did it, and I did it the first time and it was like, well, shit, that was awesome. So I just like immediately climbed back up and did it again because once you get over that first hurdle. But yeah, I mean, it's still terrifying
for sure.
Yeah, your lizard brain is like, no, dude.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do this.
It was like, I've been taking a backseat to a lot of what's been going on, but seriously, you should not do this.
Yeah. I want to do some more cliff jumping, in like Hawaii or something.
Yeah,
like jumping into like very clearly deep enough clear open water.
Sure, when you don't have to worry about it, and you don't have to worry about like clipping the cliff if you don't clear it or something. Because we started a really clean drop.
Yeah, because we could jump off the regular drop, which was about 60 feet, and then
that's still 40 feet and 60 feet. I'm still really impressed by these numbers. Like, I didn't want to, and I just barely believe that it happened.
Yeah.
It's it's enough time to think about all the wrong choices you've made up to this one.
Well, so talking about clipping the cliff face, so the regular drop was probably about 50 feet, I think we determined, but then kind of right behind it and up was this rounded rock that we called the nipple, and people would jump from the nipple, which was put probably another like 15 feet on the thing. But like if you jumped from there, you really, really had to leap outward. Like you had to clear about 4 feet outward to not hit the to not hit the edge of the cliff.
That.
Yeah, totally. So that was when it got super sketch.
That's how I would hurt myself.
Yeah, totally.
Thank you.
Yeah, amazingly, none of us ever got hurt. Right around the same time, there was a lime quarry that other people went and jumped in. And I never wanted to do it because the water was green, but it was just lime.
Right.
Made with real limes, but not lemons.
Yeah, real citrus limes that grow in Colorado. The Colorado lime is
the underground Colorado or the underwater Colorado lime.
Yeah, you think
the rice patties.
You think key lime pie is good, but Colorado
lime. It's a best kept secret. They don't share it. That's why you haven't heard of it.
Right, totally. But yeah,
the water's green.
Some friends. Well, one girl that I knew was out with some friends, and they were all being dummies, and they were jumping at dusk. And someone jumped on another person and knocked them out, and you can't see in that water because it's lime. It's full of citrus.
Creepy.
But
scary.
Yeah. So that also was kind of the end. There's
It's the first time it gets real is the end. You just hope someone didn't die over that.
Right.
Yeah, totally. God.
Do you have another one that you want to do?
Oh no, I mean I have my like Ren Faire story, but we don't have to talk about it if you guys don't want to. I have other stuff too. We can just shoot the shit.
I think. I mean, you're moving to Chicago soon. I wanted to get you in to just like.
I was
shoot
hoping you'd do the Ren Faire story, but you don't have to.
No, it's fine with me. I would have to like paint. Okay, well, if you insist.
Let's do this.
I can, but you guys should laugh at me because it's so silly. I mean, so how do I paint a picture? So I am 17, going into school. I go to Reed because I follow a girl to Portland because I'm an idiot.
That's what got you up here?
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm coming from a private Catholic high school where the summer job to beat is like golf caddy. I didn't get to be golf caddy because I wasn't good looking enough because you can fit my facial features on a silver dollar because I'm Irish is the problem. So I wasn't true to form enough. But
wait, do golf caddies have to be good looking? Is that the
to
thing?
get the tips, just the tips,
right.
but the tips.
All right, that's even weirder because aren't most golfers
Yeah, the
male?
girls are like servers in the club, and the boys are golf caddies. So,
yeah,
but yeah, no, I worked out in the fields.
Yeah, right.
That was my face. But yeah, I went to a Catholic private high school in a Republican county, and I decided to go in part, for other reasons, obviously, but also I went to Reed because it was this high-end liberal arts school that was notoriously liberal.
Yeah,
and
right.
I thought, you know what? I've had it up to here with, like, people. At 17, I was like, I've had it up to here with what I know is, like, some wrong answers and some answers that right and wrong is a moot point because they're assholes. It's like, okay, well, if you appreciate human compassion at some point, then it doesn't really matter what your socioeconomic play is. So, 17, I go to Reed, which is maybe the most liberal college in the country. It's definitely up there.
Close. I mean,
it's maybe tied with Evergreen, but
Evergreen.
Right. And it's pretty similar to a lot of the other small ones, like Oberlin or Carleton. My brother went to Carleton. It's like that, but less cold.
Yeah.
So anyways, Ren Faire rolls around. Ren Faire is loosely inspired at best by the actual term of Renaissance Fair.
Right.
I think at once that was true to form.
Yes.
And
just
and
like Comic-Con used to be about comic books.
Country Fair
yeah,
used to
exactly.
be Ren Fair.
Yeah, no,
Right.
yeah, you guys get it. So yeah. So loosely inspired, a story driven by Renaissance fairs, and Reed is generally an open campus. People can come and go as they please.
Right.
It's built over this like natural canyon reserve, so you get like nature joggers through there all the time.
Sure. Yeah, and it's a gorgeous campus.
I really liked it. That much I liked about it.
Yeah. Reed has its other host of
Reed's a
things.
pros and cons.
I just found out they have a nuclear reactor there.
Yeah, they're the only
seriously?
undergraduate-driven nuclear reactor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. But not that I trust every undergraduate junkie that went there.
Yeah.
But it hasn't happened yet, so...
No one's lost a dreadlock in there?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't power anything, so that helps.
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
It's also very
It's
small.
super
It
easy
just
to
powers
shut
egos.
off. You need enough keys,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. But yeah, there's some cool stuff there for sure. So for Ren Faire specifically, they shut down campus and have essentially a 72-hour campus-wide party for everybody.
Sweet.
And that's what it is. And they budget like tens of thousands of dollars for repairs after this party because Rees are assholes.
Right.
Well,
Let a bunch of college kids have a party. Like,
Yeah, they're gonna break some shit.
Yeah, so it's like, so anyways, it's my first ever Renaissance Fair, and the theme, they have a theme every year, and their theme, my freshman year, coming with my like top button from Southern Oregon, was the human body.
Oh,
weird. What a theme for a Renaissance
Yeah.
fair.
So, my understanding of it was that it kicks off in the late afternoon, and I'll describe what happens then. But it kicks off at a certain event in the late afternoon, and I'm safe on Friday, and I'm safe until then because I literally have classes that Friday, and I go to my 9 a.m. lecture, which is a required lecture for all freshmen. That's basically Greek and Roman humanities. So the first 2/3 of Western civilization in like a year-long intensive course. I went there to my last Hume 110 lecture, and there were a bunch of students, of adult read students, standing outside of the lecture hall, completely naked, completely stock still, in different poses of like famous humanities, like sculptures and stuff.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
like like you got like Aphrodite and like Dionysus and Hermes and like all these different, the Victorious something, like there's a bunch of just, and they're all just, the salient point is like cold light of day naked while I'm like just trying to get to school, you know, and so I meander through this like Alice in Wonderland of body parts just to get to my 9 a.m. lecture, and there are these like other older students, upperclassmen, who are handing out Jell-O shots in the lecture hall.
Jesus Christ!
Wow.
So this is like how my, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm fully unprepared for this. Like I have not emotionally come to terms. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I am here to learn, sirs and ma'ams.
Fine, give me a Jell-O shot, but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah, and that was basically it. As I couldn't decide whether to be mortified or like, you know, thought it was hilarious. So I did
like,
both.
yeah, this is it.
You know,
this is it, I guess.
yeah. So that was
Scared?
yeah, exactly. It was a polarizing moment, but I picked both, and as I tend to do. But anyway, so we're like drinking through the morning lectures, and I don't understand what's happening. And I'm like friendly comfortable by the time it's noon, and the only thing left on the docket is to go to some afternoon ecology lab. And so I show up to the lab, and there's just this sign posted that says, "Go away, go outside, happy Ren Faire."
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, all right, that's fine.
Is this going to be on the test?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, really? So I meet up with a couple friends. It's a small campus, and we start wandering through the Natural Canyon Reserve, and we're going through, and I'm having a good time. Like it's people have like flasks. I see somebody who is in a full tuxedo situation of just body paint, and it's like Friday at 2. You know, I'm like, so
yeah.
But one of my friends sees something pink and plastic under a bush, and he goes to pick it up because he's a good, he's an anti-litter bug, and he picks it up, and it's an Easter egg.
Okay.
So he opens it up, and there's 2 capsules of this like tannish white powder in it.
Okay.
Turns out that someone had seeded the Natural Canyon Reserve for Ren Faire my freshman year with a bunch of Easter eggs of random drugs.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Who has the money for that? Oh, Reed.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Like literally answered the question as I was finishing.
In a word, we call them trustafarians.
Right, trustafarians.
And
Yeah.
that's legit. Reed is trustafarian.
It is.
It's like, holy
Right,
shit.
right.
It's like people who enjoy socialism while their parents paid for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Wookiees, but definitely Wookiee adjacent.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, CSU is full of beards and horticulture students, like, on their parents' dime. Like, yeah, I get it. And CU's, like, even worse, so, yeah.
So I'll say that Reed is full of really interesting, bright, usually kind, or, like, hearts in the right place, eccentric people.
Yeah.
And that's all the nice things that I have. So
I think that's an astute observation, and it's a bit nicer than I'd ever say about Reedy.
I have a lot of asterisks behind
Yeah.
But I will say that I've met some of my favorite and some of my least favorite people there.
Yeah.
And that's the hand you play going into it. So, but anyways, I did not take those. And stop me if you guys are getting bored.
No.
Keep going.
But I mean, mixed feelings.
Now that you didn't take the drugs,
I didn't take the drugs. I went home. I did my homework, and then I applied for a conservative scholarship. No, I did not take the random drugs in the Easter egg, but somebody that I knew did, and I paid attention to that, like a good friend. And then I went and visited, and then what actually is supposed to fucking kick off Ren Faire is the senior year people complete a thesis, and they have like a 80 to 200 page thesis paper. It's a baby PhD. And they present it in front of a panel and everything like that. The way they kick off Ren Faire is that all the seniors who completed their thesis burn their thesis notes in a bonfire in front of the library.
All right.
And
Sweet.
then a bunch of kids who just have access to hand drums that are just called the drum corps come out and start just like playing shit, and so people just get tribal around this fire of fuck this knowledge, you know.
Right. Isn't that a weird ritual that students have of just like, I got through this horrible thing and now let's burn it all down? You know,
that's exactly it. It's like, I created something and I'm eager to destroy it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. No.
Well, because it sucks, because like you're on this timeline. Yeah, because the whole process sucks. So
yeah, it's brutal and formal.
I get the like catharsis from it, but like it still seems so weird to. I mean, like in a working environment, like I would never get through a work week and been like, fuck all this shit that I just worked on, like, you know.
Yeah. You just gotta work harder and engage in more arson.
Yeah, right.
Those are the rules. No, it's so it was. That's how it kicked off. But like, I've been drinking since 9 a.m. I'm a baby. Yeah. I'm like fucking hungover by dinner.
Yeah.
You know, so
should have taken those drugs.
I pile it out. Yeah, I pile it out for the rest of the evening, and we like there's just like random dance sessions in different like spots. You know, at this point.
So Ren Faire is just a loose like party on
it's
campus.
A loose party.
Yeah,
and
just like
people are doing drugs, and there's two. One of the rotating groups is people who volunteer for, it's called like Karma Patrol or something like that.
I used to do that at raves.
Yeah. So they hand out like bagels and water so people don't die. You know.
Okay.
And then the other one was Border Patrol, where it was basically like, do you have like a wristband? Is somebody responsible for you ish? I wake up Saturday and I'm like, I'm already done. You know, like I'm already an old man. Like, this is crazy. What is happening? So, but I go out. I'm good. And they have this feast. They have like the full like crispy luau pig with apple in mouth and like all this other shit like going down the line for this like free food. Yeah. So people can just reconsider. Surviving. And then I visited.
Wait, and so like, okay.
Yeah.
So kids are just openly getting blasted on campus.
Yes.
Is anyone policing this? Is the school, like, is anyone worried about this? Or is it
people
just
volunteer Border Patrol, which means that people who aren't either Reedies or somebody who vouches, a Reedie who vouches for one other person. So Reedies can bring like one other person and they can buy a wristband for it. But that's the coaching is itself.
I'm not even saying like worried about outsiders coming to like fuck this party up, which I guess now that you mention it is a concern.
Yeah.
But they're just like, oh, it's good. Like if you're a student here, like just get blasted this weekend.
Yeah.
On campus, like no biggie.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was it. That was the mentality at the time. They were like, you are free to. It's kind of the like
temporary autonomous zone.
Yeah, it's like, you know, here's an exercise in libertarianism where you're free to make your own mistakes, whatever they might be. You know.
I mean, I have mad respect for that.
So
you know, I mean, like at your typical university, which I guess is different because. I mean, it's a different institution, but it's like, hey, take that stuff to the frat houses, and then even then, like, we're still gonna like send the cops over there now and again, and like rustle some feathers and whatnot. So
no, this was
there was never campus wide just like get your fuck on, like, at CSU.
No,
like, that's for sure, dude.
That's definitely what this was. And it was, I mean, the learning curve is like, when you hit a brick wall, you've made a mistake,
Yeah.
Like, because some people make pretty serious errors in judgment. But I think that they've gotten away with it because enough people who go to read make just not quite bad enough decisions to
I mean,
really
like, also you could make a
dissolve.
bunch of bad decisions, and if you have that kind of money, like, you can kind of buy your way out of those bad decisions. So, like, that's also probably a known factor.
A different year, somebody like broke the like stained glass window chapel by throwing bowling balls through it.
Oh my god!
Daddy paid tens of thousands.
Oh, yeah,
right. So, but wasn't me.
Did they stay in school? Did they get
My
expelled, or
daddy
did
would
they
not
stay
do
in
that.
school?
I don't know.
Did they just,
what
like,
happened
pay
to
to
them.
stay in school?
I probably, yeah. I don't know what happened, but I mean, if you're still financially and personally responsible for you, and you don't cause danger to other students, and they have like so you can volunteer too. There's like the white tent is literally like if people get hurt or anything like that, you can volunteer there, and they do have like RNs, like registered nurses there and that sort of thing. So. If people just need to hydrate or to pass the fuck out or whatever, there are like support systems in place, but you do at some point have to choose not to.
Which is also hilarious because that right there just tells you that it's not a Ren Faire.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just a fucking Coachella party.
Yeah, it's just
right.
like, oh, we have the like come down medic tent, like at this Renaissance fair. That's
sure.
pretty funny.
Yeah,
because
they did.
I just went to a Ren Faire and they do not have that tent.
Right.
Because it's a bunch of families just hanging out.
Yeah,
but that's pretty wild, man.
Oh.
Fuck, dude, I almost I don't know. I almost wish you weren't leaving. I'd love to pull some more Reed stories out of you because I'm sure there's some amusing shit in there.
Yeah, there's some. I'm kind of I'm an easily exhausted introvert, and I'm also like, you go somewhere where like every kid is a straight A kid, and all of a sudden you're not at the top of the fucking bell curve anymore. You got to put in work just to show up,
right?
Like just to be okay.
Right. You
got to like pay real attention. So I only had so much energy to even participate because I was just trying to float,
right.
At some point too. So, but it was fun. I do have some.
Hell yeah. Dude, hell yeah, man. Well, I don't know. You have anything else to add to this, Matt?
I did have one more favorite childhood story that I figured I'd throw in just as a bonus round. So
drop it in.
When I was in middle school and like maybe freshman year of high school, I had this little circle of friends, and what we loved to do was play D&D, play video games, drink Mountain Dew, and watch softcore porn on Showtime. Not necessarily in that order. But,
sure.
I was thinking at the same time, but yeah.
So
throw on Emmanuel 6 in the background while you play fucking D&D.
Right. But there was this...
This is Caligula?
Right. Well, we watched Excalibur and just waited for the boobs.
Oh, right, yeah. That is a slow shit-ass movie when you're fucking 9, but there's boobs, so you deal with it.
I'm like, it's got Merlin and boobs. What more do you need? But no, there was this game that we liked to play, like... when all other options had been exhausted and or we were fucking really wound up on caffeine, it was time to play Drug Bust. And what we would do is we would split in half. Like, I don't remember how we figured out who was on what team. We probably rolled a d20, but I don't remember. Anyway, one team was cops and or DEA, and one team was druggies. And the only rule was that if you're a cop, you can't shoot them unless they are armed. And, or possibly like threatening you.
Yeah.
We thought that that's how the cops operated.
Yeah.
So nice.
Can you plant your like invisible guns on them?
Oh, and we had like
right? Can you be crooked cops?
Right? No, we had like squirt guns just with no water or whatever. We had actual physical things that looked like guns somehow, and we would just set up these ambushes essentially. Like cops would make a plan for how they're gonna fucking raid X rooms in the house, and like always check your corners, blah blah blah. And the fucking druggies would just be like, well, how are we going to kill the most cops without them shooting us first?
So you guys wrote The Wire.
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say The Shield. I was like, we're playing The Shield tonight,
right? And like we got.
I'm gonna be Vic Mackey.
Again.
And we got so creative with that shit, like hiding guns in couch cushions and like, pretending to be asleep and just, like, my friend Doug was a monkey and like he could climb trees real good. So like, the cops always had to like go away for a certain amount of time. I think it was like 5, 10, maybe 10 minutes. I can't imagine we had that much patience, but
so it was like this weird RPG hide and seek.
Yeah. With with weird gun rules. And like Doug would fucking just post up in a tree, wait for us to either kill or arrest everyone in the house, and then when we came outside, he'd just pick us off,
Nice.
And there were no aiming rules. If you pointed at someone and went bang, like
you got him.
They were dead.
You're like, I got stabbed by a junkie again.
Right? And I thought that was just the best version of Cops and Robbers that anybody's ever come up with.
That is
so elaborate.
Well, it's hilarious that you guys were D&D kids, so of course you RPG'd your like hide and seek tag games.
Right.
Like we just played fucking tag, where it's just like, this thing's the base, you fuckers go hide.
Right.
Like, this person's it, or whatever. Like, we just,
that crazy game that you played with Matt Marty and everyone.
Oh, fucking Assassins?
Yeah.
Assassins?
Yeah, so, like, we played... Okay, so you can never get away with this. And, in fact, the last time we played it, we realized the problematic nature of it, just with the world that we live in now. But we ran 2 campaigns, which was... Yeah, it was called Assassins, and it was literally that. It was... The DM would get a picture and make a profile for everyone in the game and assign targets to everyone else in the game. And it was real world, kill them out in the world. And we actually had money prizes to like encourage people to like go out there and kill their targets. You got certain score. Yeah, and we had like a whole scoring system. Like you would score X points for killing your target.
Yeah.
X points for like creative kill. Like if you just shot him with a Nerf gun, like cool. But if you like rigged up a situation where they put a CD into their car and it was like a bomb or whatever, then that was like a creative kill.
I love it. It's like inspiration points.
Yeah, totally. And like, man, it was fucking fun. Like, you can't fucking do that now, though.
Oh, God.
And the last session I ran was when I worked at the movie theater, and some of these kids were under 18, and so, like, my roommate Adam's like... He's like, dude, I just sat outside of a bush for like 2 hours and fucking shot this kid in his garage with his dad standing there. He's like, I don't think we can play this game anymore. And that kind of was the end of it, It's like, yeah,
so good.
I don't think we can, man. And like more and more stuff's coming out in the news of like cops shooting people with, fake guns and stuff.
Yeah,
and it's
exactly.
Just like, yeah, and we're just like literally stalking each other around town and like hiding in bushes and hiding under cars and stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's not the world for this anymore.
That game really does cross a lot of boundaries.
Yeah, but like
stalking at the minimum.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, totally. But man, it was super fun.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
The first session we did was like, man, it was probably like 2002, so we're still post 9/11 world, but it was still like comfortable enough to do it. And I tried it again in like 2009, and it just felt like super sketch. And like, and now even like 10 years later, it's like there's no fucking way.
Yeah,
someone
like,
gets
I'm
shot
an actual
immediately.
adult. Like, there's a stand your ground somewhere.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, too many people have been shot with like fake guns or not guns in hand at all. Like you just can't like fuck with it anymore. But
but that sounds like a lot of fun, especially as a child.
But that was like adult tag. That was like, how do we adult tag?
Yeah, it's like Vampire the Masquerade without all the stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
I have a super demure version of that, which is I have 3 brothers, and my youngest brother is a little fucking cherub. He's super nice and he's super sweet, and he was like a little bit rotund but like cute, like growing up. And I'm maybe like 13 at the time. He's 6. I think those age brackets check out. But we both are. Basically, I'm at the stage where I'm the oldest brother, so I'm like, carpooling my younger brothers for Halloween, right? But I convince him. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna carpool you for Halloween, but you have to wear this shirt, or you have to wear this jacket, and the jacket ended up saying IRS audit team on it. So he and I both wore IRS audit team jackets, and it would say it on like the badge, and it would say it on the back, and I would just take him up to the front thing, and he would just be like, "Give me all candy," like this adorable little kid. Just
You've been served.
Yeah, like yeah. Like so. But that was the closest version I got to that. It was just like, yeah.
I love it.
Oh man! All right. On that note, man, that was good. That was a good little grab bag of stories.
Yeah,
for
I loved
everyone.
it.
Will, thanks for coming and doing this with us, man. I'm
Absolutely.
gonna
Thank you
seriously
guys.
miss the shit out of you.
Yeah.
So you better fucking move back here after you
I plan on
become
it.
a renowned like whatever it is you're doing, like your weird doctor coder hybrid.
I would love to be back. I think
Curing
I'm
diseases
gonna
with AI
I'm gonna go to the
learning, man.
West
Shit's
Coast
cool.
at some point. It's just, I'm slow at a lot of things.
Yeah.
Right? My learning curve is a line, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But I'll be back.
All right, man. Yeah, you better.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Thanks for having me.
Signing off. Talk to you guys later.
Thanks for listening.